When building your keyword lists, it's important not only to look at the amount of times keywords are searched on, or simply the larger numbers of keywords that are more popular. It's actually just as important to understand when those keywords are searched on. Many keywords have a timeline. They rise in popularity over the year and they fall off, so it's very important to understand when that happens. Some of the things that affect this and are able to track that, one tool that we're going to cover is Google Trends, showing when the demand for certain keywords increase and decrease throughout the year or throughout the time that you have selected. There's also the decision cycle. People search differently based on what they're looking for and when they're looking for it. And consumer trends. We have to learn that the language people use isn't always predictable. Let's first look at Google Insights for search. This tool allows you to compare specific words. So we're going to compare 4 different phrases: New York hotels, New York City hotels, hotels in New York, and Hotel New York. These are 4 different ways when we start researching the keyword New York hotels, we see many different ways that people are searching. So we can double check our keyword research with Google Insights. Now, of course, this is only giving you Google data. This is not data that's coming from any other search engine. This is just Google providing insights into how people are using Google. We can also set what extent do we want to compare these keywords. We can look specifically at US or other countries and the searches that are made on Google from other countries. We can set the time, so just last year or last month or beyond. And we can also look at specific search categories such as travel, e-commerce, automotive, things like that. Well, the first insight that it gives us is that the phrase Hotel New York is searched on many more times than the rest of the keywords. So comparatively, there is many more searches for that word on Google. However, when we compare over time, we see that each of the terms has a specific trend. It increases in specific times of the year, and it decreases at specific times of the year. And for the last 3 years, we can see that the trend is very similar, so we can predict it. We know that it's going to happen. We know there are going to be more searches at the beginning of the year than at the end of the year. Now, a question about those numbers that we saw. These are simply index numbers. It doesn't mean that it's 74% of searches. It's simply an index that is created by Google based on the amount of searches. You really can't predict how many searches there are for that term. This is just a ratio. So as we can see the peaks and valleys for each term throughout the 3 years, we can now predict what our traffic is going to look like on our website if we gain rankings for those terms. Something else that Insights gives us is a regional insight into each of the words. So we can see that that phrase, New York hotels, is in blue, and so we can see the country list of all the countries that search with that phrase. We can also get a map index of that as well. Each keyword is color-coded, so as you choose that keyword, you can then go down the list, and we can see that Hotel New York is searched on primarily in Ireland. And other countries use that as well, and that's one of the reasons why it is searched on higher than the other keywords. We can also get a sense of related terms, top searches that have those terms in there, and we can also see what's rising in popularity. So this is a great way to add more keywords to your keyword list. One of the things I like showing people is specifically when it comes to holiday trends. Depending upon what type of business you are, this is very important to know. I like looking to see when people start looking for Christmas items, music, lights, cards, ideas. This graph shows me that they start searching as early as late September, early October. And if you're doing anything and selling anything Christmas, you need to have that up and running on your site at least by October, because by mid-December, people stop searching for it. It's powerful to know the trend, because when you can predict the trend, you can take advantage of it. Now let's look at the trend of the decision cycle. You see, the decision cycle shows us that people search differently when they're interested. They use a very general term. Then they start to look for brand names, gathering more information, and researching what people are saying about it. This is when consumer reviews come in very importantly. Then they start to exclude choices based on those reviews, and then they type in a word into the search engine that shows that they're ready to commit. Usually they're using a brand name, a feature, and the specific product because they're looking for people that are ready to sell it, and they're looking for the best sales deal, whether it's free shipping or the best price or the best support. People search differently based on where they are in this decision cycle. The last thing is the consumer trend of words that people use. For example, in working for a furniture company, we found out that people don't search for furniture using the typical colors that manufacturers or retailers use in their marketing. For example, the difference between a wine-colored sofa and a red-colored sofa. When we did an initial search, we found that when we searched for a wine sofa, there were 5 million other results. When we searched for a red sofa, there were only 3 million results. A big difference. When we did the keyword research, we found that many more people were searching for a red sofa. The wine-colored sofa, there were very few, if any, searching for that. So what this showed us is there are more people searching for a red sofa, and there is less competition of sites trying to rank for red sofa. Whereas for wine sofa, there were many more competitors and less consumers using that word. We double-checked with Google to look at the paid results, and it confirmed what we were seeing, is that for olive, wine, and other colors that were not primary colors, there wasn't even enough data to show how many people were searching for a sofa with that color. What we found is that searchers use primary colors when searching for furniture. Red, green, brown, white, black. They don't use colors such as olive or wine or mauve. And so again, this comes back to calling it what it is, but also researching whenever there's a question about multiple ways or features that you can create your keywords. So be sure not just to build a keyword list, but to understand the trend, to understand which keywords come when in the decision cycle, and also what nuances might your consumers be using when they look for specific products and attributes of those products.